Hello juniors, and welcome back to Computer Systems and Programming. For this video we are going to be learning how to use conditional statements in Python. So open the clips, make a new project called Conditional Statements, and download the conditionaloutline.py. Then move the py into the Conditional Statements project folder and use that file to take notes while watching this video. Before I begin, I want to stress that everything inside the conditional statement is tabbed in. Now, the structure of conditional statements is a little more complex because we use all of the pieces that we have done so far plus some more. The basic structure is if, elif, else, plus a conditional statement, and then a colon. Then all of the content inside, this is called the code block, must be tabbed in once. Now, we have already been making conditional statements. Basically, they are the statements that can be simplified to true or false. All of the logical and comparison statements we have been making are conditional statements. The program is saying, if the conditional statement is true, then the stuff inside the if statement will happen. If the statement is false, then the stuff won't happen. So let's go through the different uses of if, elif, and else. The first one is going to be if. Say I have x equals 7. If x, which is 7, is greater than 0 with the colon, print the x value is positive. So if I would do run as, it would print the x value is positive because x is greater than 0. Note that you can also just simply put Boolean variables as the conditional statement. So if I have x equals true and I do if x with the colon, print the x value is positive. So next we are going to be moving on to the if-else statement. The else statement catches all other conditions. So either the condition is true and the if block happens, or the condition is false and the else block happens. When you start using multiple if, elif, and else statements together, it makes a decision tree. So here is an example. Say you have y equals -5. If y is greater than or equal to 0 with the colon, print the y value is positive, tabbed in once. Else, with the colon, print the y value is negative. So if I would do run as, it would print the y value is negative. Finally, you can add the elif statement that will allow for a second condition. So if is the first condition, and if it's true, the if code block will happen. If it is not true, then it will check the elif condition. If the elif condition is true, then the elif block will happen. If the elif isn't true, then it will go to the else block because the else catches all other conditions. So an example of this would be, say x equals 13. If x is less than 0, print the x value is negative. Elif x equals 0 with the colon, print the x value is 0. Else, print the x value is positive. So it will print the x value is positive. Additionally, you can put multiple if statements after each other. Now, Python won't group these together, but they will look like a group to us. So the best way to understand a bunch of ifs is to compare it to an if with a bunch of elifs. So for an if and elif, there are only 3 things that can happen with this. 1, the if block. 2, the elif block. 3, neither blocks. For an if and if statement, there are more possibilities. 1, the if block. 2, the second if block. 3, both if blocks. 4, neither blocks. The difference is that both blocks can happen, whereas with the if and elif blocks, only one of the blocks can happen. Remember, we have been making these conditional statements too, the things within the parentheses. Now we just needed to add if, elif, and else blocks to them. I'm now going to be moving on to some of the common errors that are made when making these conditional statements. Remember, an error bug is something that is wrong with the program. There are 2 types of errors: syntax errors, which means there is a problem with the syntax, and logic errors, which means there is a problem with the problem's logic. The syntax for conditional statements is if, else plus conditional statement with a colon, then all of the content inside. This is called the code block, so if we mess up one of these pieces, there will be a problem. Common syntax errors are mistyping if, else, missing the parentheses around the conditional statement, missing the colon, not having the code block tabbed in, putting the different conditions out of order. It always goes one if, however many elifs, and one else. You can't have multiple else or if statements in the same decision tree, and having a broken condition is another common syntax error. There aren't common logic errors because it normally depends on case by case, but the logic errors are normally problems with the conditional statements, the stuff within the parentheses. And that is it for the practice video. So when you complete the outline, you can upload that to GitHub and submit that. Then you can move on to downloading the Conditionaldrills.py from Canvas and put that file in the same conditional statements project folder and complete and submit that. Once that is done, you can move on to the debug Conditionals.py by downloading it from Canvas and putting the file in the same folder your other 2 assignments are in. Once you complete these 3 assignments, you will be done with the conditional statements module. With that being said, please let me know if you have any further questions or concerns. You can do that by emailing me or attending my student hours, and I will see you all later.